Hello, welcome. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your presence. Welcome to number 6 of Living as Presence. Yes, a space to be where we can just simply be together and breathe. Be aware of the beingness that we are. Be aware of the presence that we are, this felt sense. Yes, a deep, conscious breath. Fully present through the full cycle. Inhalation, a little pause. Exhalation, little pause. A pause being just a little gap of nothing. And noticing what happens. Bringing your awareness fully here to the now. The only thing that exists, the only place, let's just say, it's not really a thing or a place, but this reality. All there ever is now, right here. So we are anchored deeply. Let's begin with our intention. For being here, for sharing this space together, this still sacred space together. You may be aware of your own heart's intention. So just holding that lightly as we're here. My heart keeps saying this. Let's also be aware of a vast intention. So the intention that we may benefit all beings. Holding this in the infinite heart. May we benefit all beings. That, of course, includes ourselves and all beings, not just human beings, all beings. Breathe that in. Feel the vastness of it. Perhaps the heart expands, the infinite heart expands even further to hold this. Be aware of your feet. Be aware of the sounds in your immediate environment and perhaps the sounds outside. And without commenting on them in the mind, just aware. Maybe you're aware of the air touching your skin. You can feel it. So have your full attention here. If you wander into past or into future, it's okay. As soon as you're aware of this, as soon as you realize this, then just release and return deeply. Find your feet. Take a conscious breath. Mm. And rest here. Yes, the intention of the presence is primary. It's the most important. More important than everything else. It's one of our crowy friends. Just confirming the presence is most important. So this space, this space of being together allows us to deepen and intensify as the presence. This is a practice of just being, not thinking, not doing, just resting in being, doing nothing. So, doing nothing, we're still fully alert, fully awake, and yet very relaxed. And just observing what happens just here, anchored here. What are you noticing within your body, within your energy field? Perhaps you notice how nourishing the presence is for the body, how much the body enjoys it. Mm. Resting deeply. Mm. offering gratitude. I just was aware just of a wave of gratitude moving through. And feeling this immense gratitude for the earth, our Mother Earth, Gaia. And for all of the awakened beings, wisdom beings, the seen and unseen beings. There's a sense of feeling saturated as the presence. Seamlessly anchored here. Seamlessly meaning there's no separation. And that's true. And it's also our direct experience. So it's not just spiritual truth or gospel or theory. There's a deep knowing. Mm. Yes, just luxuriating here. Savoring this, savoring the silence. Even with the little sounds that are present. Hmm. If there's any place in your body calling to you, and it may be calling as a little bit of tightness or tension, or maybe a little bit of an ache or pain. So don't give it any of those labels. You may just feel that it's calling to you. It's calling for your presence, for your attention, for your loving kindness. Yeah, so of course, offer this. So I've been given a question to answer here. So I will read the question. And at the same moment that this question came, there was another one that came as well, and very similar. So I'll look at both of them. Still fully present here. So we can listen as the presence. So we don't need to think about a response or anything. Just give this full body attention. There, perfect. So the writer says, one of the places where I seem to lose awareness of presence is when I am with others, especially old friends. Could you speak more on that? And then another person in the same time period wrote, I am learning the practice of conscious breathing. Better at home or alone on the street. Worse when I interact with others, especially when I talk. So they have a similarity to them, being with others. And the second question, in a way, it helps to answer the first and both. So this, I am learning the practice of conscious breathing. So I am practicing conscious breathing, making this a practice. And being with others and holding the presence is a practice. So I'm not saying holding like this, but holding. So this is a practice. This is a spiritual practice, and it's beautiful. So we can approach it as a practice. There used to be, well, maybe there still is an expression that says, practice makes perfect. And I recently saw that that was replaced with another expression. Practice makes permanent. So the more we do something, the more we practice, the more we repeat it, the easier it becomes. It goes into our energy field, it goes into our cells. It becomes easier. So this is a practice, so we approach it in that way. And as scientists of consciousness, we want to observe. So we want to be aware of what happens during our interactions. And if or when we lose consciousness, and then how that goes. So years ago, I worked as a child care counselor, and one of our ways of working was something that we called PI. So PI, it's an acronym. So the P is plan, and the I is implement, and the E is evaluate. So we did that with treatment. So treatment plan. So implement, plan it, implement it, and then evaluate it. And we can use the same here with this practice. So we're going to meet another being, and let's say that we can plan it, that we're planning to meet another being. Of course, we have interactions that are spontaneous, unplanned, but let's say that we're planning this, and we become aware of the priority. So our intention is essential. So the intention to practice, the intention to hold presence, the intention to be fully present with this apparent other. So we begin with that, and we enter our interaction or our time together, our meeting, consciously. That might mean sitting in stillness for a few minutes before the meeting, so that there's that sense of fully here, fully rooted, just breathing. So meeting the other. In this way, we have the ability to give our complete undivided attention. So we're not divided by thinking. We can be fully present, and we can listen. And perhaps we listen more than we speak. And while we're listening, we can feel the aliveness within the inner body. We can feel the presence. We can feel the breath. And we can still hear the words. And the other being will receive this complete undivided attention. We all know what it's like to speak with somebody, to be interacting with somebody, and if they're distracted, and not even distracted doing something, but distracted in their mind. So we know how that feels, and we also know how it feels to be received with complete attention. That the other is truly listening, but listening in a deep way, like not listening to give a quick response or the answer, but just listening, holding the space. So we can bring this spaciousness to our interactions. And listen. And perhaps there is a response, and that will come out of the presence. That will just naturally come. And we may not respond, and yet the other will still feel heard. And they will experience this because I've had feedback. The other will experience this as like nurturing or reassuring or peaceful or calming. Now, of course, it's going to be easiest with those that we know the least. And the practice will intensify with those that we've known the longest, that we have a history with, a longer history. That's when we need to turn up the light. So the awareness beforehand and just anchored beforehand with the breath, with the presence, and then listening. And while listening and looking, so we'll look into the other being's eyes, and we don't see them as a separate person. I mean, that's the appearance, but we can see the presence that they are. We can feel the presence that they are. And that's how we connect as this one awakened consciousness. And it's a practice. Now, with some of our interactions, our friends or family will be interested in having this be their practice as well. So it's an opportunity to practice together. Staying conscious while we speak, while we share space together, and while we share maybe information or hold space for a plan or an answer. And it's beautiful to have another being that's also interested in this practice, practicing together. And when the other may not share that interest, so then we're just still fully present, still seeing the other as pure presence. And listening completely. Allowing the responses, so these are planned. So when they're unplanned, a spontaneous meeting, same thing. Just be sure that you are here, rooted in your body. And recognizing the opportunity. Another being, here's an opportunity to connect as the presence. So to connect in a deep way. Yes, we may talk about the surface things, the comings and goings, and yet we can be rooted while we listen. So listening is key. And you can notice as we listen, we are inwardly silent. It's a funny thing, those two words, listen and silent, have the exact same letters, they're just rearranged. So listen and silent. So in order to truly listen, we need to be inwardly silent. And give space to this other being. Allow this other being to just be. Hold space so we can see all these interactions, planned or unplanned, as beautiful opportunity. So an opportunity for all of us, each of us, to deepen and intensify as presence. As what is most important, the top priority. So we plan if possible. And even if it's an unplanned meeting, we can have a nanosecond planning recognition. Practice opportunity. And then we implement. So this is our practice. We stay conscious for this meeting and observe what happens. So as a practice, maybe you want to, in the E part of PI, the evaluate part or evaluation part, maybe write some notes. So how did it go? Did something work well? Is there something you'd like to try differently next time? Did you lose consciousness during the conversation? Do you know when or how that happened or why that happened? Did you regain consciousness during the meeting, the interaction? And if we can approach a practice, and this practice in particular, with an open heart and an open mind, and with joy and gratitude, we will be delighted. This is a way of planting seeds of consciousness without even speaking about it. We don't need to have any spiritual language, no spiritual anything, just fully present here as our true nature. This is our true nature, everyone's true nature. So inwardly quiet. And the same goes for, practicing not just only with human beings, but with animal beings. To give them our complete, undivided attention. This loving awareness. Yeah, that is it's reminding me of Ram Dass. And I understand that he in his later years, used the mantra, I am loving awareness. I am loving awareness. So maybe being with another being, a mantra is needed, perhaps, so we can do it silently. We can also bow inwardly to this other being. So bowing without moving our body, and bowing in a way of honoring the essence of this other being, the essence that is the same as ours, not separate. Same consciousness. So listening more than speaking. And then when speaking happens, again, it's a practice. So with somebody, with somebody who is also wanting to practice, you can practice together and noticing in speaking, staying conscious, what happens? Can you stay conscious and speak? Can you stay here? And then notice what happens if you start losing that, you start feeling like you're come back. And in the coming back, you may need to stop speaking for a moment. So it's easier with someone that is also practicing, that you're both have an agreement. Let's practice together. So maybe your speaking slows down a little bit. And again, this is a practice. We need to do it over and over and over again. So in the evaluation part, evaluate with kindness and wanting the truth above everything else. So you want to know where more practice is needed. And the more we become aware, the more we become aware, the more awareness. So intention is everything. We can share intention with another who is also interested in this practice, in a conscious being together practice. So the intention. You can have your intention close by when you leave your room or your house. Knowing that you will be seeing another being, maybe not speaking to one, and maybe you will be speaking to one. So remembering your purpose here. Let's look at the question again. One of the places where I seem to lose awareness of presence is when I am with others, especially old friends. Okay. I'm learning the practice of conscious breathing better at home or alone on the street. Worse when I interact, especially when I talk. Okay. So with old friends. So with old friends, share what you're doing. Maybe they're interested, maybe not. So being with others quite often, interacting is a listening practice. So to listen deeply, to fully receive the other being. So not tight or restricted or not that. And the breathing really helps with that, to fully receive. It's amazing and mm, just profoundly beautiful, profoundly divine to look into the eyes of another being. Yes, with the eyes of love, whether we know the other being or not, whether the other being is fully conscious or not. Mm. Ram Dass's mantra, I am loving awareness. And observing again, the other being benefits and we benefit. And we are benefiting all beings. This is the vibe that we're sending out. This is our perfume. This is our message that we are transmitting into the collective, into the universe. We can take pauses between speaking. Take a breath. And enjoying the practice. So it doesn't need to be perfect. Enjoying it. being willing to see where more practice is needed. And that can even be brought into our meditation. So noticing where you stop giving full attention, where you stop listening, if you get triggered, if you get distracted, and then noticing how quickly you can return. Now, if you're with someone for a longer period of time and you notice that it's becoming more difficult to just hold this, so excuse yourself, go to the bathroom or go outside and just take a break, breathe, look at the sky outside. Close your eyes, take some conscious breaths. Maybe that's a signal to complete your visit together. Or maybe you get refreshed or renewed from a little break and can return and continue. Yes, I keep getting this image of Kato in that movie. That movie's not coming to me. Inspector Clouseau, the, we'll see. Pink Panther, the Pink Panther series. So he instructed his assistant, Kato, to keep him on his toes, meaning conscious, by jumping out when he would least expect it. So you can offer that humor as well to encounter another being when you least expect it and consciously. An opportunity to deepen and intensify, turn up the light. Thank you. Thank you for the questions. Let me just see if there's anything further. Yeah, feel free to share how it goes. Or if you find something that works really well for you, sharing your wisdom, always welcome. So make it into a beautiful practice. Mm. Let's offer this presence that has been generated through us. Let's offer it. I'm seeing rainbow light. Let's offer it into the world consciously. It's already going into the world, but let's intentionally direct it from our heart. Perhaps you know someone personally who would benefit, so offer it to them. Mm. And just notice how the offering is made. Notice the creativity of the presence. Or perhaps you know a group of beings, human or animal or nature beings, that are calling to your heart. Or maybe you know a particular place that would benefit. I'm aware of so many beings appearing right now. So sweet. Mm. Mm. I wish you great success with your practice. Staying fully conscious and staying fully conscious with other beings. Mm. Thank you. Mm. Much love and infinite blessings.